everyone. Welcome back to The Shelves Have Eyes. I'm Fantom, and today we'll be doing a retro review and unboxing of Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Autobot Sixgun. Now I've had this figure sitting on my finished table downstairs in the room for quite some time, along with all of the other boxed Transformers that I have from Siege that I never got a chance to open. And I figured that with the upcoming re-deco of this figure as Dark Energon Cybertronic, I figured we would do the Autobot version of it. So, how about we get on that, shall we? So, this is War for Cybertron Siege Sixgun. Sixgun in the original G1 toy line was a cobbled together action figure that came with Metroplex, and you essentially formed him from 6 guns, hence his name. In practice, he was kind of a non-entity. It was 2 pieces of Metroplex's city mode that you kind of just pinched together to form a torso and legs. One of which was kind of like a tank, and the other one was kind of like a tower facade. And then you added the guns that came with Metroplex onto them as his arms. And that was essentially it. I'll dig up a photo of that and I'll put it on screen right now. Here? There? I don't know where I'm going to put it. In any case, Sixgun was kind of a non-entity. So when War for Cybertron Siege came out, even though Metroplex is not part of that line, he was part of the Thrilling 30, which predated Combiner Wars and Titan's Return. They decided, you know what? This character named Sixgun has 6 guns. So they revitalized the idea of Targetmasters with Weaponizers, which were deluxe class figures that disassembled into a variety of weapons or armaments or armor for other deluxe or Voyager class figures. So you can see here, Sixgun breaks down into these individual pieces, and then you can apply those pieces in various ways to various figures. So here they've given you as an example Ironhide, which is a figure I do not believe I own from Siege. I don't believe I do. But as you can see, they makeshift a bowcaster, I guess, if you're a Chewbacca fan, and shoulder-mounted cannons and feet cannons. Very much a Siege leader-class Shockwave kind of treatment, where you just have these pieces to bulk up other figures. It's not a bad idea. I always appreciated Targetmasters as an idea. I didn't really like the way that they panned out in toy form because the toys were just so lax. It was just a non-movable figure. Its arms may be moved, and then you just flipped out gun barrels from the back of it, kind of like a GoBot, and then fit it into somebody's arm, and you had a gun. That's what it was. I never really thought that anything in the original G1 toy line really paid forward the idea of a Transformer that exists solely as a weapon. I mean, yeah, I know. In the original G1 show, they're Nebulans. In the comic, they're Nebulans, so they're human or biological, and then they form... Anyway, doesn't matter. That's not integral to this particular conversation. I like the idea of weaponizers. How well they actually ended up implementing them in the War for Cybertron line is an entirely different question. But for this example, we will just review this as we would any other figure. So this is Autobot Sixgun. He is deluxe class. We have a very nice piece of art here on the side. We see the figure itself fully combined and put together. It has the Siege mural on the side. And on the back, we have a rendering of what it is supposed to look like, and an example of how it breaks apart into different weapons. Curiously enough, here with this Ironhide, they're not really... This is essentially a backpack, even though it looks like hands. for whatever reason, we'll just gloss over that for right now. So how about we open this and take a look at what it looks like in reality, shall we? So out of the package, we get the complete figure, and we get instructions, and that is it, because all of his accessories are attached to him. Looking at the figure, it's very obvious that this is a parts former. Now, I've got nothing wrong with parts formers. I do kind of like the look of him. He's a very nice looking figure. His proportions are interesting. He looks very much like a Alex Milne illustration. Like it looks like this guy could just walk right off the pages of More Than Meets the Eye or Lost Light. I think he's pretty cool, actually, just like right off the bat. I think that is supposed to go down there. I like him. He looks very much like Freud, the design for Freud from More Than Meets the Eye, Lost Light. I wonder if that was kind of an inspiration for Milne, illustrating that particular character, that he was kind of designed after this. I'll have to look that up. He does not have battle damage so much as other figures of the line. The only places I can really see it is right here, where they have kind of just dry brushed silver onto his black parts. And that is it for battle damage, quite honestly. That's all I see on him. He is very posable, which makes sense because he's a parts former, and parts formers disassemble. I do like him. He's extraordinarily posable, actually. These joints are a little loose. 5mm peg here is a little loose. His ankle tilts. This one is loose. This one is not. I don't know if that's just by age or whatnot else. In terms of whether he is a good version of the character, I mean, Sixgun doesn't appear, I think, in any media. Maybe Japanese comics. Maybe the Japanese manga, Legends manga, included him for some reason. But I don't think we see Sixgun or Slammer appear in the G1 show, and I don't think that we see them appear in the comic. I mean, obviously they're the figures that came with Metroplex, but I don't think really they have any starring role, so to speak. My biggest issue with this figure is really the fact that he doesn't have heel stability. So essentially, you put him down and he stands flat, but he's also really back heavy. So I always constantly feel like he's going to knock over. I mean, I guess it doesn't really make so much of a difference if you're posing the figure. I guess that really isn't that huge of a deal, because you can always pose him in a way where his weight is more evenly distributed. No, I like the figure. I like the figure a lot. I think that he is really posable, and he doesn't feel like a parts former. Like, you know that some of these things are a little loose and you know that he comes apart, but he doesn't feel flimsy. He feels correct. He feels heavy. He feels like a deluxe class figure. It feels like he's an actual figure, which is more than the original figure could say. Yeah, his feet both go up and down, and this little clip here is not that great. So that really goes up with no resistance. So don't buy this figure thinking that this is going to be a grand day out here. But yeah, how about we transform him and see what he looks like in his alt mode. This is Sixgun in his alt mode, which, I mean, theoretically, I believe Sixgun is supposed to transform into a tank, and this is clearly not a tank. This is clearly an aircraft of some sort, a spacecraft of some sort. It is not a tank. I believe, if I remember correctly, there was something where you could put these on his feet, so they did actually become more of a tank. I wonder if you could do that. I mean, I don't think that that's actually going to solve anything. No, because now you just got this weird honking piece here that I don't know where you would put that. I mean, theoretically, I guess you could fold this up so that the leg pieces are still locked into place with those tabs. And then I guess put this down. Put the exhaust pad down and then, I don't know. Do something like that. Does that look like more of a tank? That looks more like the Loch Ness Monster. But yeah, the point is that you can make this into whatever you feel like. I actually think that it looks pretty nice. I mean, it's very obvious that this is a parts former. It's kind of like a shell former. I mean, you know when you get a shell former that the shell is going to cover up everything. And that you kind of know what you're going to get. You kind of have to measure your response with the fact that, you know, it's a shell former. I think this VTOL kind of look, it's nice. It looks relatively realistic for a Transformer alt mode, I guess. It seems different. And I like the novelty of it. I like it a lot, actually, as a matter of fact. But no, I've got nothing really to say about it. I mean, he is what he is. He is a character that is destined to be taken apart to transform, and taken apart to become parts for other Transformers. So, there you go. Here we are at the end, and you have Sixgun. A nice little toy. I do appreciate the fact that they went out of their way to try to make robot that could be an actual robot character and also disassemble into weapons. The weapons aspect doesn't really interest me as much as the figure does, but overall I like this look. It goes along with Metroplex. I mean, I wonder how or if these pieces actually connect to Metroplex in any meaningful way. Really, the biggest problem I have with this figure is the stability of it. He's just constantly on the verge of tipping forward or backwards. He's just got to be kind of leaning forwards all the time. No, for what it is, I think this is great. I don't really have much to say about it because Sixgun was never really a character. He was Six Guns. And so he retains the ability to be Six Guns. And he kind of has a stylish robot knot. I like it. I keep saying Freud in here, though. I wonder if there are any upgrade kits to make this into Freud. Yeah. In any case, this was really short because, I mean, it's a siege and it's a weaponizer. There's no lore really attached to it. So I hope that this gave you guys something. I've really just got to work my way through all of the boxed Transformers I have on the table down here. So Sixgun it is, right? We're getting ready for Cybertronic, Dark Energon Cybertronic, which is a Walmart exclusive Decepticon redeco of this figure. So stay tuned for that. In any case, I hope this proved somewhat illuminating to somebody. I mean, I don't really expect this episode to go over like gangbusters. You could also, theoretically, just take his guns out and have him hold them. Because, you know, that's something that you could always do. I don't know whether that's something that appeals to anyone. But hey, more 5mm pegged guns, right, for other toys. So, in any case, thank you very much for joining me today on The Shelves Have Eyes for this impromptu unboxing and review of a Weaponizer from, what, 6 series ago at this point? In any case, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this proved edifying for somebody. I enjoyed it, and now I'm going to think about how I want to use this figure to attach to other figures as a Weaponizer. If you enjoy Transformers content, if you enjoy talking Transformers content, Please think about liking this video, leaving a comment, because I respond to every comment, and subscribing to the channel so you know when the next video drops. I am continuing to roll through Transformers, and I love talking Transformers. So, drop me a line, ask me a question, leave me a comment. Subscribing does help the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. I've been Fantom. This has been The Shelves Have Eyes. Have a good day, y'all.
Transformers, defenders of truth, robots who fight in disguise. Transformers, when the battle is through, only the strong